Hi friends! It's me, Miss B, back again for our next art adventure. I'm in my studio today on this rainy day, so I thought I would bring to you one of my favorite projects. To do it, you're going to need some water. If you're lucky, a recycled spray bottle with water inside. If you don't have a spray bottle, you can use a cloth or anything to wet your paper and spread some water around. And last but not least, some art tissue. Art tissue is really easy to get your hands on. There's some at the ELC, and there's also some at Amazon, Target, anywhere you go to shop, they usually have some art tissue. When you purchase your art tissue, make sure it is bleeding art tissue, and you'll see why in a minute. So, before we get started, you know that you should always put on your smock when using materials that could stain or dye your clothes. Okay, let's get started. Step 1. You're going to want to use a nice, thick, and sturdy piece of paper because we're going to get it nice and wet. The first step is to wet your paper. I'm going to use my spray bottle to get water all over the surface. If you're one of those friends that doesn't have access to a water bottle, you can use a rag. Dip it in the water, get it really wet, squeeze, and then saturate your paper. Get it wet all around. You might need a grown-up to help you with this part. So once your paper is all wet, now it's time for the tissue. You can take a piece of tissue and place it gently down on your paper. You can then spray water on top or splash some more with your cloth. I'm going to use now some green paper. Each one I rip by pinching and tearing. Pinching and tearing. Let's try some blue. Pinch and tear. Pinch and tear. You want to get lots of different colors onto your paper. And every once in a while, you want to spray some water or dab some water right on top. Keep going until you've filled your whole paper. It's okay if your pieces go on top of each other or overlap. That might make your artwork even more beautiful to look at. Here we go. Pinch and tear. Pinch and tear. Once you're done and all your tissue has covered the paper, you need to saturate it. That means get it really, really wet with water. Like I said, you can use a rag or a spray bottle to do this. What we're looking for is the paper to bleed. Tissue is full of ink. And when it gets really, really wet, like we're doing right now, the ink or dye from the tissue bleeds onto our paper. This part is about being very patient and waiting. You know what would help us wait? Counting. How many of my friends can count to 20 in their target language? Let's give it a try. Now that we've all counted to 20 in our target language, it's time for the big reveal. Let's see what we get when we peel off all of our tissue. You're probably going to want to have a nice safe place to put all these wet tissues because they will stain your table or your clothes. So you're going to want to have a bowl or a plate or something to put them on. Here we go. Whoa, look at this. Wow, I think this is going to be really neat. Wow, look at the beautiful colors underneath my tissue. Pinks and purples and greens all blended and bled together. When ink or dye comes off of a paper and off of itself and onto a paper, we call that bleeding. Look at this beautiful artwork I made. It has pinks and reds and yellows and greens all bled and mixed together. What does yours look like? Let's let them dry and then come back and add more to them. So, once your tissue paper is all dry and you have a beautiful painting, now you can start adding to it just like I have. You can use anything to add on top of your painting. I was using oil pastel and crayon. Let's see what else I have. Here's a little oil pastel. I can use a little Sharpie marker. I can use a little crayon, maybe some blue, some crayon, or even just some regular old ordinary markers. Really, anything I want can make my painting more and more exciting. You might notice at the end of all this, your fingers have changed colors. That's okay too. Working with materials like tissue paper means that some things might change color. That's why we wear our smocks, to protect our clothes. Can't do much about your fingers, but they'll come off in a little bit of time. I hope you had fun creating with me today. I know I did. Have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye!